All right, welcome back. Now, both the ANC and SACP have distanced themselves from the hashtag Zuma must go now group, which will be marching in Pretoria today, calling for the President Jacob Zuma to immediately leave his office. While not supporting the group, SACP's first Deputy General Secretary Mapaila yesterday said that the NEC seems to be failing to deal with a simple matter. Now, with all eyes on the outcomes of the NEC to see whether it will arrive at a conclusion as it convenes today. Soli joins us now in our studios. And Dr. Mapaila, good morning to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much.
Now, your response to what we've just seen now before the ad break, the national convener of the hashtag Zuma must go now. We've seen the ANC yesterday distancing itself from this group. Do you know them?
Well, I know them. That was Bishop Mapaila, a highly respected individual who has a church, and we've worked with him before, so we do know them. What is important to clarify is that they do not have a mandate from us to have the march. But of course, the content of the march is generally the broad expression of impatience of South Africans who are feeling that the leadership is letting them down by taking too long to deal with actually a matter that should not have taken us this long.
But what do you think they're taking this long?
Well, precisely because President Zuma is reluctant to leave, and I think he has shown disrespect for the leadership of the ANC. He had spoken even on this question of the notion of two centers of power, which justified him at that time initiating the process to remove President Mbeki. But in this case, when actually President Mbeki had done nothing very serious, if you like, it was more political stuff. But in this case, there are gross errors and gross miscalculations and mistakes that President Zuma has done, the larger one being the handover of the national executive to a group of his friends, the Guptas and perhaps others. What it actually means is that he has donated our national independence. That on its own is a big charge, let alone these other ones that comes, whether it's allegations of corruption and so forth, but to almost donate national independence of a country, because the president of a country represents the totality of the national independence of our republic. So that's a more serious charge, and I think that he should have long been removed from office. These members are now indicating the impatience. And of course, we have also seen it's not only these ones, but many others. The issue that we felt it was not correct for them to do was to come in the name of the Communist Party, to come in the name of the ANC without the approval of these structures and make a national call for a shutdown, and also to threaten others that were trying to protest to protect President Zuma. So we're indicating to them that we do not support the national shutdown. We may support the content of what they want, which is the essential part that President Zuma must leave office, but we do not support the manner in which they are trying to call their own meeting. But it quite actually shows disorganization of some sort, lack of appreciation of organizational positions and authority. But at the same time, I think it shows the deeper lack of political coherence inside the movement, inside the new national executive, the leadership paralysis that is there, which is now leading members to take themselves to the street. And of course, the party will not really join this heavy-handedness approach that they must just face discipline and so forth, instead of actually engaging. We would like to engage them because we know them. They are not unknown people.
All right, so you will not be taking any discipline?
No, we have to engage with them politically. I think the bigger issue is the movement dealing with corruption and showing that the restoration of corruption will be represented by how the movement deals with the big guns who are involved in corruption, who have criminal records and so forth, but wants to ascend positions to lead the movement.
But seeing that you are agreeing with the content of the march, are you likely to engage with them and perhaps maybe join hands next time?
No, obviously we believe that the NEC should resolve this matter by today, but certainly I'll talk myself to the bishop. I tried to call him yesterday. I think he was too busy. We couldn't pick up my call. I'll talk to him, and even the comrade that represented the Communist Party yesterday in that press conference, I'll directly talk to him today to just understand and clarify to them the political positions of the party. Because if you do that, you create divisions inside the organizations. For instance, just going all over. For instance, our structures in Tswane were not aware that there's this kind of a thing. And it will be unfair for them as well to see the party being said to be participating in a particular event, which is unorganizational. So we just need to sort out that particular matter. But I think going forward, we may need them for major transformational issues of our country, because they seem to have energy, but we don't support ill discipline, we don't support working outside the organization and the use of organizational emblems without the approval of such organizations.
All right, and you say that you're hopeful that the NEC will finally resolve this matter. You issued a statement over the weekend saying that the ANC leadership is unable to deal with a simple matter. Is it that simple? Do you think that Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa is finding it simple?
It is a simple matter, and I think that one of the things we should say to President Ramaphosa is that if he tries to have secret negotiations with President Zuma, he'll end up in a long process of blackmail.
Do you think he's doing that?
I think he's beginning to enter into that particular space.
But he came out saying that the issue of immunity to the president is out of the cards.
Well, that's another thing. That's very important. In fact, we must say that we appreciated, firstly, his first engagement, because I think he's committed to unite the movement, to make sure that the movement is not divided unnecessarily. But the main protagonist, the belligerent force in this case, is President Zuma, who doesn't care about the unity of the ANC, the unity of South Africa as a whole. That is why he feels that he can withstand all processes. That is why he has defied the National Executive. They had to call it as an agency meeting of the NWC. The NWC called an agent meeting of the NWC. President Ramaphosa is still committed to try and unite the movement, engage him unilaterally almost, postponing the NEC, taking such drastic measures to protect a man who doesn't care. Later on, he doesn't meet the part of his bargain. And I think that's unfair on President Ramaphosa for what President Zuma is doing. So that is why the National Executive Committee had also to rescue its own president and insist that President Zuma must go. And if he doesn't resign today by himself, the National Executive certainly have to take a decision to recall
I know the SACP doesn't have representation within the NEC itself, but what are you gathering? Is he likely to go today?
He has to go. I think that's the bottom line. If he can go between now and the National Executive Committee meeting taking place, that means the National Executive Committee has no choice but to remove him. And unfortunately, in that way, it will go against what the president of the ANC had required, which is that the president must live in a dignified way. But if it goes in this way, it means that he has been recalled, then the ANC will itself lead a motion of no confidence in Parliament if, for instance, it doesn't resign after being recalled as well.
All right. I just want to put through some question to you here. Let's talk about the SACP's claims last week about President Jacob Zuma wanting to remove the deputy president and replacing him with Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Where did that come from?
Well, we can't expose our sources, but it was very, very credible information. We knew it. I can vouch for it. We knew he was going to do it.
But why did it not happen?
Yes, because we exposed it. We exposed that thing, and that was important that we did that. We asked him to deny or confirm based on the information that we had. And of course, that put his plans into limbo, but was really going ahead. I can talk to him if he likes to indicate the reality of that. He knows it as well. All
right. So you're hopeful that today he will go?
Obviously, I can't represent an iota of his thoughts, because he's so unreliable. He's someone that doesn't care. In fact, he's willing to fight this thing right up to the end. And that's what the National Executive Committee must understand. And they must remind him that we don't run presidential elections in this country. We run a party political system. And he has to account to his own party.
We have to leave it at that. Mapaila, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, that's Mapaila. He's the first Deputy General Secretary of the SACP, of course, talking to us about the current political climate. We're taking a quick break here on Morning.